Hello everybody, it's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having a pretty good day. Hope everything that you're striving for, you are progressing towards. That's the name of the game, progress. Nothing happens magically. Nothing happens by simply wishing. It happens by progressively moving towards a goal. No matter what that goal is, no matter if it's individual, no matter if it's as a family, as a team, as a group, the same thing applies. You've got to put in work. With that being said, a lot has happened in the Black community over the last couple of weeks. Not that it's been quiet in the community at any time. There's constantly something going on. I am constantly being bombarded with different things that happen within the community that normally don't get any real attention outside of the scope of the parameters in which these situations happen. So family and loved ones deal with situations that we're seeing play out on major stages each and every day in the Black community, and most of it goes unsung, unheard, and the average Black person doesn't have a voice. One of the reasons I created the Black Voice channel was to speak for those who could not speak, to give a voice to the voiceless, to be able to sit up and talk about things that are beyond celebrity gossip and celebrity news and group talk and all the stuff that we tend to get caught up in. When I do talk about a celebrity, there's a teachable moment there that we need to pay attention to. They're simply isolated microcosms of a much larger issue, and no matter how much money, fame, and celebrity they are able to grab hold of, they eventually realize that they are still who they are, just with a lot more resources. And when they get too far out of line, they'll go after the resources, as we see with Kanye. What I'm here to talk about now is a need for us to have a code of conduct. About 8 years ago, I talked to Dr. Claude Anderson and his wife Joanne about the Blueprint 1.0. It was a blueprint of Black empowerment, dealt with everything from education, economics, politics, family, marriage, everything, and the school to prison pipeline. I mean, every element of it. And at the core of it is a code of conduct. There has to be a universal expectation of behavior. We don't have that in the Black community. Everybody reacts to most things, and normally they react in a very desperate way. And that leads to highly unpredictable results. And normally the results aren't predictable in the sense that they're going to turn out bad. But in order to get consistent results, there has to be a pattern, a plan, something that can be measured and adjusted, and you can see results that you can compare to past results and say, well, this worked, this didn't work. One of the things that you gotta have is a code of conduct. You need to know what you are expected to do. There has to be a standard of behavior for our men, for our females, for families, and how we approach dealing with our children. There's no code, there's no standard, there's no universal expectation when it comes to the Black endeavor. And because we don't have a Black code of conduct, we get clowns like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal calling Kyrie Irving an idiot. And here's the thing, I have no problem with the dissenting opinion. I'm not a person that's trying to quiet dissenting voices. I'm not a person that if you come on my page and disagree with me, I have a problem with you. What I am going to challenge you to do is be able to support your position. What I am going to challenge you to do is be respectful in how you disagree. I have no problem with disagreeing, but we will be respectfully disagreeable, but we don't have to, number one, agree on everything. And second of all, if I'm going to disagree with something, I want to disagree with it on it based on an idea and a chain of thought, or a line of thought that I come up with. I'm not going to dislike something because the powers that be say I should dislike it. And what I mean by that, almost all of the black voices that are speaking out and talking about Kyrie have not watched the movie, documentary, or the book, read the book. But you have an opinion. So where's your opinion coming from? If you have not, with your own eyes, seen enough of what is supposed to be in this movie that he shared, or the book that inspired it, then your opinion has actually been given to you by the media, who has categorized it and classified it as being a certain thing. This isn't about me, again, taking a side. I'm trying very hard in a bunch of things for the longest. I've tried to be biased. There's some things you just can't be biased on. If it's something I see it, I'm going to call it. But what I'm trying to say is there's a behavior that has to be in place, that even if I disagree with you, there's certain things I'm not going to do. You know, he's an idiot. He should be fined and fired based off of what? Now, if you have a knowledge of this piece that has everybody up in arms, and you've seen it, and there's hatred towards a certain group of people, and it's obvious, then, and you want to hold a position that that's unacceptable, here's the major problem I have. Do that. But I have a problem that there's a bunch of hatred out there that's aimed at us. There's a bunch of vitriolic posts. There's a bunch of material. Hell, there are textbooks in Texas where they are classifying slaves as involuntary immigrants. They migrated involuntarily, not slaves, everything but slaves. They were slaves. And what you do is you shift and change the narrative. You mitigate the devastation. You marginalize the role of the people who were behind it, and you write an entirely different narrative. It wasn't that bad. The hell it wasn't. It was the worst type of slavery that could be, chattel slavery, and it lasted for a minimum of 247 years. So let's talk about it, and then let's talk about the fact that after it was supposedly legally abolished, that slavery by another name kept going. You need to read that book, Slavery by Another Name. So what am I getting at? What I'm saying is there's got to be a code of conduct, and I'm not just in that area. There has to be a code of conduct of how our men behave. There has to be a code of conduct of how our women behave. There needs to be a code of conduct of how we move with our money. There has to be a universal understanding. This individualized mindset, I can do what I want to. I'm an individual. Yes, you can, but we live in a social environment. We live in a social construct. Humans are mammals that by the very nature of our identity, social creatures. We were meant to operate in groups. Matter of fact, if you isolate any one of us for any group of time, isolate one of us for any significant amount of time, we literally start to lose our place in reality. We start to hallucinate. We start to create alternative realities. We create friends that aren't there. Why? Because we were designed to be around one another and work with one another and come up with plans and goals and aspirations and work together. We were never meant to be individuals. One of the greatest things that they've been able to accomplish with us as a people is to create this unity. J. Edgar Hoover, you hear me say this all the time, his greatest concern as the director of the FBI when asked what was the greatest threat to national security. It wasn't anything in the Soviet Union, who we were in the middle of a Cold War with. It wasn't in Cuba. We had just went through the missile crisis. It wasn't in any other Arab countries who were always a threat. It was not up and coming China. It was black unity. Point blank and simple, black unity made them afraid. So what did they've gone out of their way to create disunity, disrupt the Black Panther Party, disrupt the Black Nationalist Party, infiltrate and destroy hip hop, which was a response to the first two being infiltrated and destroyed. And we see it consistently over and over again, and we don't understand it because we don't have a code of conduct that says that understanding it and being aware of our history should be a part of our natural development. There are so many things that we're just out there doing whatever we want to, chasing whatever we want to, not giving any consideration to the long-term implications of our decisions and our choices. And it shows that we are that discombobulated as a people, and we are being exploited because of it. So again, we need a code of conduct. Now, I created a code of conduct. I ran it by Dr. Anderson and a few other people. They co-signed on it, both him and his wife. This is, wow, nearly 10 years ago. But anyway, that's on the site. It's on the Odyssey Project site under Code of Conduct. If you go under resources, I believe it is, programs and resources or something like that, and look at, it's got the Blueprint 2.0, the Blueprint 1.0, and there's also one that's just totally the Code of Conduct. I'm going to be revising that over the next several months, looking at it, seeing what we need to change, what we need to add to it, whatever. If you go there and you see something and you want to contribute to this, it's a think tank. It's not just me. It's people who want to be a part of the solution. I suggest that you send me your suggestions. If you want to sit down and create a meeting where we put our minds together, I'm all for that. That's what we need. But we cannot sit around and expect things to change when we don't even have a unified expectation. We don't have an agenda. We don't have behavioral and responsive protocols. All of those things are things that groups that are striving and thriving in this world have. We don't. And so we're going to need that. It's that simple. On that note, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. As I stated in the beginning, the work we do is vital. We've been doing it for more than 2 decades. We plan on continue to do it, but we definitely need your support. We need your support for our research. We need your support for our think tank. We need your support for our programs like Black Men Lead, Music is Life, the Black Empowerment Initiative, and others. We have programs for mental health, program for domestic violence, and so much more. We need your support. There has to be wraparound services. There has to be resources to those who do not have the means through which to get the help they need. There has to be connectivity. And right now it is so sparse and it's so unsure that most people don't have a clue of where to go. We're trying to be that source, and we need your support. On that note, I'm gonna get ready to get off of here. Think about it. Code of Conduct. I'm out.